Hello, my name is Ava, and this is my lovely friend Evan, also Ava. So, we're here to talk about some fun things regarding gender theory and things regarding like growing up with different types of views on it and different types of feelings towards it. Very interesting person. I love you so much. I'm very excited to talk about this. Oh my gosh. Okay, so making sure that was still going. To start, I guess we'll just kind of get the basics out of the way. Like, tell me a little bit about yourself specifically, like the names you usually go by, when and where you were born, stuff like that.
I was born in 1981
Okay.
in West Virginia. We lived there for 3 days.
West Virginia in 3 days. That's awesome. Why only 3 days?
We moved around a lot. It was I was only in West Virginia. That's where the hospital was.
Oh,
we actually
okay.
lived in Ohio at the time.
Interesting.
And we moved about 18 times before I turned 2.
Oh my goodness, 18 times? That's quite a bit.
Yes,
How-
we did move around a lot.
How was that for you as a kid growing up?
Memories start pretty early for me. Normally around right around the time we moved to
Okay.
Indiana. So most of my
Interesting.
upbringing was in central in Bernardsville.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Nearby.
so you're pretty
So
much.
I'm pretty central Indiana. I've moved around a lot as an adult. From
Right.
18 to 25, I moved about 47 times.
47. That's insane.
Just very gypsy wonderland.
Yeah, that's
A lot of
cool though.
that.
I like that. I like that because it's very nice to be able to like kind of explore your surroundings and be able to go do stuff like
It's
that.
true. I've met a lot of people and seen a lot of places.
Yeah.
There are a lot of different people, for sure.
I was gonna say, what's your favorite place you say that you've been, that you've met someone that's been like, wow, this is something that I will remember?
I find that people, one of my favorite phrases is people are people wherever you go.
It's true.
And I find that there are delightful people to get to know. And I love the individuality of people.
Right. That is the best part.
I do. I like expression.
Yes, you're very good at expressing.
Thank you.
Very much so.
And I think as far as fashion and the influence there really impacted me. Yeah, not really. I didn't really care about fashion until the end of my teens.
Right.
In junior year of high school, I wore some clashing patterns, and I had a girl on the cheerleading squad say, "You can't do that," and I said, "I can do whatever I want."
Right. That's amazing. So I was gonna say, what would you say like your first time kind of venturing into dressing differently than what you would say is the norm?
Probably began there. I was about 17, and then the gender bending of fashion. Like, I have a very androgynous style, and like I said, I make my work clothes under this.
I love it. Yes.
And I mean, they're not men's jeans, but they suit me and my.
Your
my
hair looks
taste
great.
style. Thank you.
Right. That's awesome.
So I like the fluidity of it. I love that. I love expression and color,
Yes,
style.
I agree.
So and patterns, good patterns.
What would you say is your like most like what pattern do you wear that you feel the most powerful in?
Houndstooth.
What's that?
Undoubtedly. It's the one, it's got like the 2 forks coming out either side. Looks kind of like a hashtag on a kilt.
Oh, okay. I think I do know. That's nice.
Either looks like the teeth of a hound is where that came from.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Many years ago.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. Good to know. I
Tell me about
feel like that's quite flattering. So I guess like more of like specifics. You told us about where you grew up, West Virginia. I actually also like lived in West Virginia for like a second as a baby. I don't remember anything. But what is your ethnic background? Specifically, like where are your descendants from? And stuff
Northern
like that?
Europe.
I feel that. Same.
Sweden and Holland.
Oh, cool.
Swiss and Dutch and German is debatable. There's a side of it. Like, my last name is arguably German. We'll see. I don't know. I haven't done a test yet. We've thought about it.
Same. I did a test and my mom was like, we thought that we were all these things and now we're not.
Right. But I know, like, my Scottish family history. I know my family crest, which is cool. Like, I know some lineage pretty far back.
That is cool.
And some lines, especially when it comes to Sweden. There are family that have taken over histories, and it's a big group. There's lots of us. They're Anderson.
Right. I was going to say everywhere.
Name drop.
That's awesome.
But yeah, coming from a very large family,
Cool.
and really being given a lot of creative expression.
I was going to say, so that was my next question. So are you pretty close with your parents, or are you still in contact?
Yes. We have it's a little military. They're pretty right wing. They are.
Okay. I was going to say that's
I love them. I understand their position. We have discussions. We've not ever really fought.
That's awesome.
About things.
That's a
like,
really
we can
good way to be
disagree
able, right?
And recognize that we love each other, and we always will, no matter what.
That's a really. I was going to say that's a really
My
cool
20s had a lot
experience.
to do with it, no matter what, on that phrase. It's true.
Yeah. Well, so tell me about your 20s then. What were some things about your 20s that did kind of shape
coming
that?
out, I grew up very like as far as theater and expression and being able to express myself, which a lot of this is, it's costuming and daily life. I wear a costume every day. And given the ability to choose my own, I do. I look at it as a wardrobe choice.
That's awesome. Yeah, I agree.
As opposed to, hey, I'm just going to pull on whatever's closest to red.
Right.
So, growing up pretty right-wing, very right-wing, and still having them there is unknown to me.
Yeah.
It's not the smoothest, but
I'm sure there was things that had to be discussed and things that had
there's
to
a great
bumps
deal of
in the
love,
road.
and that will cover
Oh, that's
all
great.
sorts of things.
Right, no, for real. I completely agree with that. I feel like I've met a lot of people in the same kind of position where they've had the hard time of like being able to like even kind of like even approach it with their parents. But the fact that you guys can even like discuss it and that you're still very much in each other's life, like that's important. That's really cool. For sure. So I guess with that right wing, did you grow up pretty religious? Did you have any do you have a religion now?
I have a great respect for religion.
Okay.
I find that whatever you believe, if you can defend that belief from a genuine place for me, I can respect that.
I agree with that.
I have studied many,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess followed tenets of several. Like, I ascribe to several paths.
I feel that, yeah.
Not specifically Christian.
Mm-hmm.
That is a path that I know well.
Right.
A lot of knowledge there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not a devotee.
No, I feel that. I know what you mean.
Like, I don't hate it.
Uh-huh.
And I believe in love, and I think that love is a pervasive theme.
Yes, I feel like love is something that is very, very much throughout most religions.
Well, and I love the following description of love. That
Yes.
Love is patient, love is kind.
Yes.
Love keeps no records of wrong, and taking that into account and trying to live that is very important.
I completely agree. I think that's
no matter
something.
what I look like.
Right. I think as long as someone can give someone love and show them that, you know, as a human, that we all basically are there for each other, because I think that's what's most important nowadays, especially with the climate and things that are happening. I think that's a really important aspect that most people should take from, like, that morality of religion, of, like,
Sure.
just love each other, like, love each other for what you are and what you believe. Right, just be kind, be humble, be kind, all that good kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess a little more off like that. So, we talked about you lived around here, where Bernardsville is pretty small. How was growing up in that small, because I sympathize with Bernardsville are very small, like, very, like, it was very kind of a narrow path, there was not a lot of room for diversity and for
Well, and
different...
I found, like, I had a very Huckleberry Finn childhood. Like, I did. There's a great little park in Bernardsville with a creek. They took an oil car and cut the ends off and made a tunnel. We used to run along the edge of the tunnel and avoid the big black snakes. Like, I had a very, very tomboy child. I had a tree house.
Cool, that is really awesome.
I did. I had a very wholesome upbringing. I was on Little League and I played sports and was just very active and involved and have continued. I'm a social butterfly.
You are a very
I
social
was
butterfly.
raised to be.
right. So, would you say that...
But both of my parents are too. They're very communicators. They're very.
I'll say, do they like talking to
speaking.
people
Yep.
and stuff like that? That's awesome. I think
Dad
that's a
likes
really...
talking to people more than Mom likes talking to people. Mom will talk at like she can teach and she can. She's just not nearly as sociable as my father.
No, I can imagine. I feel like my mom is the same way because she'll like.
But they like did puppet shows when I was a kid. Like they were very creative.
Yeah.
We all sing. We're a very artistic family.
That's cool.
And I feel, especially when it comes to the term vestite, vestite being the clothing, like a vest.
Yeah.
I love to wear a good vest.
Yeah.
And the fact that ladies get to wear so many colors, you guys get way more colors.
I know. And that's something that we've talked about in this class is the fact that like it's the color scheme is very gendered and it's very much like from the start.
And heels were originally for men.
Yes, they were. And the only reason why it stopped being that way was because women started wanting to wear them too, and men were like, well, like we can't
do that anymore.
Right. So,
and I find, yes, and beyond just my wardrobe, I love arranging flowers, but I can also change a radiator.
Right.
Like, the balance of, and coming from my mom and my dad, he's a handyman, and he had to fix everything, and my mom can cook anything, and so
That's
I learned
awesome.
a lot from both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very blessed in that.
That's really...
Just a very
well-rounded,
and broad spectrum, and I appreciate that in life. I'm a big mission speaker and missionaries all over the world.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
So the
they definitely-
cultural diversity being a very early and solid presence in my life of the value of other people, no matter where they come from, who they are.
That's a really good
value as a person because you're a human being.
Right. That's like I think
And
what.
even if you're not a human being, like I think that creatures have value.
Oh, absolutely.
Plants. I love trees.
Yes, trees are important. They help us breathe.
Love the world. Love
Yes,
the people.
yes.
Love the ball. Love everybody.
Shout out.
That's the moral of the story.
That's really cool. I like that aspect of fluidity that basically was just kind of like throughout your childhood, and I love that's carried out into who you are as a person. I think that's really important. I think that's really cool for someone to have. And I think that's awesome. I really like that about your childhood a lot. I like that you had both aspects of like, you know, like domestic things like cooking and like all that stuff, but you also had all of these like, you know, learning how to fix things. And
Well,
like
and
that.
having done a lot of set carpentry and construction and worked as a theatrical carpenter.
Right, that's cool.
For years, I learned that. I mean, my dad had a workshop out in the garage, and the smell of fresh sawdust is one of my fondest childhood scents.
Oh, I can
It's
imagine.
true.
It doesn't smell that bad at all. I like it.
So it is a very fond recollection for me. Learning just woodworking and construction and building things. So,
Right.
I did a lot of work.
That's awesome. I guess more to like touch on that a little bit is like, in speaking of work, like how have, because I know that you do some shows, you do stuff like that. How has that affected work life as far as like when you meet peers and they like hear more about your outside life if you tell them at all? Is it pretty like people are pretty opening? Is it?
I find it, for the most part, yes. People are very accepting. I think that fear is a motivator for a lot.
I could see that for sure.
And we talk about that a lot. And you see it, I will say more so in the smaller, isolated communities.
Absolutely, which
Who-
understood.
And now I feel like in an era of technology and of this instant, you know, like for a video to go, if we go viral.
Hello.
Uh,
Right. They should look great.
Thank you. I feel like people.
You really do look. You walked in, I was like, oh my god. I'm being interviewed. Like,
And
oh my goodness.
and this was, I am, like I said, I believe in costuming. I believe in presentation and moment, and this opportunity, I'm very glad to do for you.
No, this
Absolutely.
was. I think this is really
I
interesting.
felt like it was time for you to meet the namesake I've told you since we
Yes.
started working together.
Ava
You've
and
never met
Ava. I've
It's
never.
true, Ava and Ava. You're with an A and I'm with an E, though.
I know. So we have
It's
a
true.
little difference,
It's
but
true, but you can't hear it.
exactly. So it's kind of the same, right?
Because there's a little accent mark over my E.
Oh,
It's true.
awesome. Okay, I was
It's
gonna say.
Ava, and I usually do lowercase. I do that with my name as well. The diminutive. It is. It's a very poetic choice, and makes me feel like E. Cummings. It's fun.
Right. So I was gonna say, what made you want to choose that name specifically? I like this
When
idea.
I first turned 21, we started on that path. We'll pick up the thread.
Let's go.
I had done a lot of, I said, you know, when I was 17, so that 4 years I did a lot of expression, and I gender bent my wardrobe, but I was never going for a female impersonation, which I think is different than drag. If you watch Drag Race, this is not, don't clock me for my mouth. I have lashes, I don't have an eye. I look like I'm in glasses and I gotta work tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We're not that. And
You just me.
and that huge beat mug and the giant hair and the dramatization, the exaggeration of the feminine, I think is a blast. And I think that men and women should do that, absolutely.
Absolutely.
The exaggeration of the feminine is a lot of fun.
Yes, it is. I can
It's a
agree.
blast.
I love dressing up.
And it's a very different thing than for me coming out today in public, driving my own cars and walking around downtown Lafayette and saying,
This is me.
when I left my roommate said, you look like Sarah Paulson. And I said, good.
You absolutely do. Oh my gosh.
Well, it's the
Can you
round
come in?
glasses. I didn't show them.
Oh my god, yeah, you walked in with them and I was like,
See them around.
yeah,
I
please.
don't know who else to
Enlighten my professor.
To whom it may concern.
She loves it. Oh my goodness. Sarah, is that you? Hello? Can you like witch me up a little bit? Have you seen that show?
I
Like,
have.
side note? Oh,
I have,
Well.
absolutely. And I bought the hat because it's very common.
it very much is so.
It is.
But to the name. So
To the name. the day I turned 21, I walked into a club and said, "Look, I think I would be good at this." I'd been waiting tables for a little while. We wait tables together.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. And had a pretty good handle on that. I've been bartending privately. Just like, but
you didn't say that.
But I learned that, and wasn't a big drink. I mean, what I wanted out of 21 was a nice bottle of gin in my freezer at home, so that I could have a nice little gin and tonic after I mowed my yard. It's really, I'm not a big partier. I'm not, and I enjoyed it going out dancing. But I walked in and said, "Look, I think I'd be really good at this industry." It was April. My birthday was actually this weekend.
It is. Happy early birthday if I don't see you. Hello. Oh yeah, we're good. Blessed. And we're still going too. I was like, oh no.
Oh good.
We're in business.
So yes, thank you.
Yes.
But being mid-April wasn't a big hiring time, and he said, "Well, we're looking to start our own strip team. Would you be interested in that?" And I was like, "That seems like diving off the deep end. I don't know that I'm up for that."
Right, not quite.
That's kind of. And he kind of gave me a once-over and said, "Well, you've got the figure for it. Have you ever thought about doing drag?" And I was like, "No, I had not really ever seriously considered doing that." And it wasn't like there was a drag race. It wasn't a big cultural phenomenon.
Right, especially at the time, yeah.
And I love knowing now far more of the history of that. I mean, going back to Shakespeare. And,
No, I think it's insane that people don't
Greece,
recognize.
It's an ancient tradition.
Yes.
It is.
It is.
And a fun week, it is. And it was really later on that week, and I knew that they had performances on Sunday nights. And so I was in my favorite vintage clothing store, and I saw a little black dress, and the rest is history.
And the rest is history. I love that.
I showed up in my
very
first
dress.
drag show in this little black dress and some clear strappy heels, and just felt like I drank a martini with my pinky up and had a ball.
$1,000,000 right there. That's awesome.
It was, and there was a legendary queen from Ohio named Misty Knight.
Okay, I love that name. I've never heard of that, though.
She was female presenting all the time. Had upper surgery, not lower surgery. She taught me how to run a technical weekend, but she taught me how to tuck that was impressive and scary. And I try to dress in a fashion where I don't have to hurt myself.
Right.
Like pain.
Pain is not fun. No. I'm a little bit so.
We're good. Like I said, I'm in home, so I'm fun to dance. But, in thinking of a name and the differences and recognizing we were not, and back then we smoked different cigarettes, we drank different drinks, we were very different. And now I feel like we're so much closer to being the same.
Yeah.
There's just, we've known each other a lot longer now. Bouncing around inside my head.
Yeah.
But, her name being so similar to mine because we are very similar in most regards, and so losing the N off of that, and now I mean her full name is Evolution.
Oh, that's right. You have told me this.
Well, which was a development when I was 21. That wasn't the case. It was just Ava, like a one-name chair. And that was fine for me because I didn't come from a drag family. I didn't have anybody teaching me, which is usually where you get your lesson.
Right.
And drag is from your drag family, and I didn't have that.
Interesting. I did not know
it
this.
was just something I did. I borrowed a bra from a girlfriend of mine. And
nice.
Had a blast. It was fun.
That's amazing.
Then, I'm very blessed to have small feet.
Yes.
And a small frame. I as far as style, finding dresses that hit the floor when I'm in heels is a trick. Because I'm a very tall lady. Nicole Kidman and I are the same height.
Oh,
it makes
absolutely.
me feel better about my body.
How tall is that then?
5'11".
Nice. Okay, cool.
So
the sweet spot.
I would say I'm about 6'3" when I stand up right now in these heels.
I love it. That's amazing. Well, I feel like tallness brings around this type of.
That's true. Well, but it is a fascinating part of the drag culture that so many very, very tall and large men love to do drag and are phenomenal.
Right.
You look at women like Eureka.
Yes, I have seen Eureka.
Delicious and Lansing, Delicious and Hoodie Low Viral Hi Ladies.
Hello.
Up in Fort Wayne, who are, I mean, friends of mine who are 6'5". Allison from here in Lafayette is just a go to Amazon. Mahogany Charlotte from down in Crawfordsville, now Bloomington. They are well over 6 foot flat-footed.
Oh my
so you
goodness.
put them in heels and hair, and they're 7.5 feet tall, and it's just this incredible glamazon And I mean, Rue herself is a very tall, commanding presence.
Right, absolutely. Hi, Rue.
Hi, Rue.
Love you so much.
Season 11 was in my thing because it's my name. It's true.
See, I haven't kept up with so long. My friend Emily is super into it right now, and she's like keeping me up to date. I need to get back on it because it was one of my favorites.
And it has become such a very, I mean, it's a very commercialized thing.
It really
now
is.
A very slick, polished mega production.
It really is, and that's something that's really interesting to see that's changed. Like
well,
it used to be like
season 1 being the last season because the budget was next to nothing and nobody kept it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's gone. So, but yes, as far as my name and where that came from and my discovery of really fearing impersonation, and it was, I would go out with my coworkers after a show to the straight bars downtown, and it was 17 years ago.
I think you still look
tied off white Oxford and some jeans and some tall boots, and it was a ball. I'd go out dancing with my friends and just loved it. And,
that's amazing.
And really have not. I mean, I'm a good girl. I carry Mason my purse.
That's important. Very important. Sister's got to stay fucking safe because.
Well, and it is. That's one of my roommates very concerned, being, you know, this is Indiana. And I was like, well, hey, it's downtown walking.
Right. It's not anything. Yeah.
Nobody's gonna drag me behind a truck.
God, that'd be so bad.
Well, and we can chuckle about that in downtown, but yeah, it's great.
Look at that. I honestly need to get some. Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, it slides right onto your fingers, so you can keep it there and have your hands free.
That's a great contraption. I need to get some. I had lost mine. My parents got me some, and I just totally in the move.
Important, ladies of whatever gender.
Please.
Ladies of whatever.
Use it.
Protect yourself.
Good
this
PSA.
Is not going to cause permanent damage. I don't want to injure you permanently, but I'm willing to pass.
It's going to stun you for a second. Stay in line. Yep.
Don't make me do it.
Exactly. Really don't.
Some setting spray. Freshen up. Have you?
I actually.
Use setting spray on it?
I use setting spray sometimes. I usually, because I honestly couldn't tell you the last time I wore foundation, just because like it makes me break out so bad. But I usually, my aunt got me this Urban Decay like fancy like I had an NYX primer that I love. I've used this before. It's great. It's amazing. Yeah. I love
and that preparedness, like having it, especially the amount of effort that it goes into just putting it back together for the day and look together, and it's a whole lot more work to be like, ladies, you have my you do. Well, and I mean, I can get ready to look like a dapper gentleman, especially with my beard grown out. It takes me 5 minutes to be able to sit in a shirt and tie and suit looking sharp.
Absolutely, I can imagine.
This is not a fun moment, ladies and gentlemen.
It is a full dang meal.
And I mean, you missed the shaving part, some of you. I'm not judging you. Sure. But it is all process. And talk a little about that. I started at about 11.
Right. How was like kind of like realizing that you really liked doing this process and what the process kind of meant
to you? A lot
of
it came coming from theater. I did my first show when I was 12. And
That's
awesome. I
awesome.
loved performing. I've been singing on stage since I was 2.
You're a great singer, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I love. This gives me the opportunity to use my upper register. I'm a counter tenor, and it's
awesome.
Not,
okay.
There are some that have choices about my tone. They're not. Please, it is a bright sound. I do Audrey from Little Shop of Horrors very well. A nice nasally Bronx that I can.
Nice.
But I have some Wicked high notes. Literally, the Defying Gravity note from Wicked.
No way.
Got that bell.
Wow. That's impressive.
And it is an interesting phenomenon. It's not completely unusual. There are a lot of guys out there that can hit some high notes.
Right.
But it's a neat party trick, and it's fun to be able to sing the right register.
It is.
Whichever I'm presenting. I find that I speak in a very neutral tone anyway. I get lady enough over the phone. I get ma'am a lot on the phone.
That is interesting, because I'm always kind of, and I feel that it is quite like a neutral, like I could see if you were on the phone. But knowing you,
sure.
That's that's interesting. I'm surprised.
And I mean, I can Johnny Cash, baby.
Right, like hello.
Hello.
That's not you. I like your voice way better.
Thank you. I find that in communicating tone is very important to pitch,
Absolutely.
and having the ability to just be conscious of that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people go through life and don't think about their tone. It's all reactionary. So whatever, if you're mad, your tone escalates with it, and the entire situation escalates. As opposed to if you can keep your tone calm
And keep everyone a little more calm, a little more.
it helps with staying calm. It helps with keeping yourself calm.
Yeah. You know, I get that vibe from you, especially at work when I'm having like freakouts. Like
Sure.
I feel like you're always very much like, and I appreciate
I've tried
that.
to exude calm. I do. I try to spread it around. Stay
Good.
calm,
Keep
everybody.
doing it
Keep
because
calm and chive on.
yeah, I need that. I know a lot of people work need that, so keep
It's
doing
true.
you because that really does help.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, it is really just ripples from me. I do that to me all the time.
Right.
I'm constantly keeping myself calm.
And that's a really good thing to kind
and
of
try
get
to
used
help
to.
those around me when they're
That's
losing it.
will be appreciated because like I have definitely lost it at points where I'm like, you know, like
It's true.
work is
Well,
work.
it can be a very frenetic job, and can be a really tough job.
It can be for
You've
sure.
never served before. You should try it at least.
You really should.
It'll
Everyone,
give you way more respect for the service of the world.
I will never not tip anything less than 20% ever again after serving
It's a hard life.
for us. For real though. I guess just kind of like a little bit of just to kind of like wrap it up a little bit because we've been doing really great. This has been really insightful. What do you think like is your biggest takeaway from like all this as far as like something you've applied to your life?
I feel like as my early 20s, I really wrote a lot of poetry. 18 to 25 were really, I have to get this out of me and expressing myself,
Right.
and I was very emotionally extreme.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like in that calm and control, to just segue straight through that, keeping myself calm and controlled, and like I said, that coming together of she and I being so much more similar. Like
Right.
I am very comfortable
That's amazing.
in my own skin, no matter what
Good.
is on my skin.
Right, no, and it always looks great, so.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
And it is. I think that the impression I especially when I travel, if I travel in a certain time, I am treated in a different manner.
I can imagine.
It
How would
is-
you say that, what would you describe the difference as?
I
If
would
you can
describe-
get like a specific.
Sure. Is usually just a manner of respect or
Mm-hmm.
approach. As
Yeah.
I feel like, especially if I'm in, just danger order, heaven forbid, shorts and flip flops, people think I'm a kid.
Interesting.
My face is clean, and I'm like talking to me like I'm not like I'm a little, like,
Right.
but that I'm significantly
Younger than you
I
are,
am.
yeah.
It's close to 40. It's
I would
true.
never would have, I really never would have guessed.
Which is, thank you, Mom, for the wonderful skin.
We love you, Mom.
Thank you. I look just a lot like my dad with my mom's skin. That's weird.
That's a very good
it's
quality.
a good combination. About it.
Good.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
But I think that I guess the biggest takeaway for me is finding a legitimacy to it and a balance to it.
Mhm.
Like it's one of those things where with all the work, it really is a summer sport for me. Not to make it seem
Right.
lighthearted, like it is a very legitimate expression, but it's also like I don't wear flip flops in the winter either. I don't like my
Right.
face to be
No, I feel that completely.
like,
Like the wind slapping against your
it.
cheeks.
Well, it is it's interesting seasonally for me, and living in a warmer climate would
Right.
extend the season, which would be great. I love it.
Mhm.
Lord knows I'm happy with this clothes.
That's
Goodwill Sundays, and honestly, for
Goodwill.
me,
Yes.
it's not as far as I guess self-validation. I'm
Okay.
not doing this to be validated by it.
This is for yourself. Yes.
Well,
yes.
and for you, absolutely.
Love it.
Not for you to make me feel like it's okay for me to do it, but because I knew that you would love
Yes,
it, and then
no,
I
I
felt
was-
like you should meet her.
I absolutely.
At least, and this incarnation is usually this is how I would show up to a gig. I would show up with pretty minimal makeup. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be wearing big hair. I'm not going to be in a face and jeans and a t-shirt. I'm going to show up looking like a lady.
I
And
literally,
then
I'm just like blown away.
throughout a show, I will evolve, which is part of the play on the name. The
Right.
evolution of it all.
Oh, nice.
And so between numbers, and I will usually stagger my numbers. I'll sing live,
That's so
much closer
cool.
to me, like, and then as it gross.
That is I love this whole concept because you're the first person who's ever been very open and very much like, this is how it is. And I really appreciate that because I feel like, especially if you were to talk to someone with the same type of like, with the same type of like, just how they feel with their gender and how they feel with themselves. Like I think it's really important to like be able to do that for yourself and for like society too at the same time.
Well, and so much of for me, like I'm far more. I'm way less drag than I am female impersonation. And it's not really an impersonation, I guess it's female expression. I will gender present. Because I have a very feminine side, and these are
look at these nuts. Beautiful.
And that, I wore that ring on purpose.
I didn't even see this. Regan would freak out about this. That's beautiful. That is beautiful.
I came from a 3-day experience at a theater festival in Germany.
Amazing.
From a French girl that we just clicked immediately. Her name is Elodie.
That's so sweet.
And has been just not feeling like I have to completely transition or alter anything about me to be. That's amazing.
That's really cool. Yeah, do what you need to, live your life. I really appreciate you doing this and talking to me. This has been an amazing experience. I hope my professors and whoever else enjoys this.
Me too.
I've enjoyed this. Hello.
It has been a nice visit.
Right, it has been.
And we don't get to do this. Normally we get like 15 words between shables.
And I'll run outside after work to be like, Evan, I need you to sign this and hello. Alrighty. Goodbye.